and sunnier as well. Oh, microphone, check, check, check. All right, there we go. That microphone should be better. Let's see if we've got our live stream in place, and then we'll talk about some upcoming events. All right, fantastic. All right, so as you know, we do things about the genius and biofeedback, and I also teach courses on human nutrition. And so we do have a course coming up on that. If you'd like to learn more about the science behind the way of eating that I recommend, which is potatoes, rice, and pasta, you'd like a nuanced understanding of that. If you'd like to go through this with us live beginning in April, then please sign up for this course. I'm going to put the information into the chat right here. And Sarah, I'm glad you're here. Sarah's our person for the day. So Sarah, I'm so glad that you made it. There are installment payments that you can do for this, and you're going to get the full understanding of why historically we were misled and taught to pursue protein, even though it can make us really sick. And some of the other foods, like thinking that fat is good to pursue instead of sugar. If you really want to dispel those myths in such a way that you can learn to really help others, you should take this course. It's going to be experiential so that you can go through it with my guidance, and we're going to make it more nuanced. We're going to have some smoothies and some juices and some elixirs to help you to detox your own body and make the transition to this plan. When you do, you will always feel full. You will always feel satiated, because this is the food that you were meant to eat. And once you get on this plan and you understand the main thing that should be on your plate is starches. If you can understand the main thing that should be on your plate is starches, but you can also have vegetables. You can have delicious split pea soup, lentil soup, minestrone. I'm just saying all the soups today. And we'll have a lot of recipes as well, that you can have potatoes, that you can have rice, that you can have pasta, but you also eat it with vegetables. You also can have some green drinks to help to continue to alkalize your system and detox all of the stuff that we've been building up over time, over the years. All of those things we'll talk about. It's going to be experiential, but also change your life, and it'll help you to change the lives of people that you're working with. And so that is part of my goal with Practitioner Hour, and also in teaching this way of eating and combined with the biofeedback. Now, you're not going to get everybody to make an overnight change, but at least you can get them the information that they need so they're not misled. There's a lot of misinformation, which is really unfortunate, and it forces people to choose to take actions that make them more unhealthy every day, where they're even sickening themselves because of what they have been told. All right, so wonderful that everybody is here, and I absolutely love it. And let's go ahead and just look at a few other things here. Let's go ahead and we'll get this course. We've got the link. You can see this on the screen here. I just need a little bit more of the screen. We're going to get started in our case. What we do is we do quantum biofeedback each and every week. And so I'm going to be choosing some frequencies for Sarah. I'm going to listen to a history, sorry about all the images, of what's going on with her. And we're going to try to understand the root cause. And then I'm going to choose some particular libraries. I'm going to come up with some affirmations for her. I'm going to be saying some prayers for her, and we're going to be recommending the food as medicine plan. Now, I also will recommend some things from naturopathy from my training, whether they be homeopathic or herbal, Chinese medicine herbs, things like that. So I'll probably also be recommending that, so we make it a well-rounded plan. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you, which we shared last time, so this is nothing new if you get the handouts every week, is we share the wellness questions. So some of the wellness questions that I ask, I don't have a part 2 yet, but I will soon. So some of the questions that I ask every client, and so we can look at that in just a moment here, and that'll be some of the questions that I asked today, and that helps me to understand the person about what type of imbalances or issues they might be going through. So we have these wellness questions. Everybody's welcome to download these, and you may want to start to ask your client. You can always explain that you are a wellness practitioner. You're not their doctor, but these things will help you to choose the right frequencies for them. When you're working in a session, you're in the field with the client. You're right there together. Your two energies working together in the same direction to really help the person. And so what you know and understand about them is significant. Even if you're not acting as a doctor where you're ultimately going to prescribe a pill, you know, it's still significant to the work that you're doing. So, you know, how long has this been going on for? Can you remember when it started? Can you remember what was going on in your life when it started? How would you describe your current stress level? You know, you want, these questions will help you to get a sense of, even if you don't know the exact interpretation of every answer, this will help you to gain a better understanding of your client and really understand what they're going through, and even just have empathy and compassion for them, in that you know a little bit more about their story. I'm sorry about that image there. We're going to change that in just a second. And here's the potato rice pasta. We haven't changed this very much as well, but I'll be working on upgrading it and adding to it. So this is the plan, the food plan that we recommend, the potato rice pasta plan. And so we'll be talking more about that. And just want everybody to have that to look at. And then, of course, in the class, in the Detox and Nourish class, we'll be talking a lot more. And you'll just be blown away to learn how immunosuppressive fish oil is, and to learn even some consequences of taking vitamin D. You'll also be really understanding about when people are encouraged to eat more protein, also comes with a lot of fat, and there are toxins. So as you eat further up the food chain, it's the most toxic way of eating. Whereas when you eat starch-centered foods, there's just not a lot of toxins that can be held in there, because toxins are held in fat. So they're held in fat tissue and they bioaccumulate up the food chain. So when you're eating very low on the food chain, you're eating you're ingesting a much lower load of toxins. And there have been some interesting studies, like, of course, Colin Campbell's, the China study, where he studied these groups of people in China, of course, where they would smoke, but the people who smoked and ate low protein did not get cancer. I'm not saying smoking is safe, but the people who smoked and ate a high protein diet did get the cancer. There's something about, especially those animal-based proteins, that seem to trigger something in the body or maybe disable the immune system. So you can get away with a lot in a toxic world if you change your diet in a certain way. You can survive and thrive even in what we know is a really toxic environment. So I think you'll find the course incredibly interesting, and I hope you will join me for that. It starts in April, and thank you for everybody who's already signed up for the course. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and we're going to be getting started with our client. And so I'm going to go ahead and welcome our client, which is Sarah, to our Practitioner Hour. So Sarah, I'm going to bring you up here as a panelist, and thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a bit of an odd hour, I think, where you are, or you can catch us up and tell us if it is. And we'll be going through this, and I have her intake form here, but I'll be asking her a little bit. Has a lot to do with her shoulder that she's going to tell us about. So we're going to look at that as well, and hopefully she can join us up here. Oh, good. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Sarah, hopefully you can join. And we'll get rolling here. Okay, Sarah, how are you?
I'm very well this morning, thank you, Ariel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So I'm going to guess it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday morning there?
It's Wednesday morning, it's 10:15. It's quite a civilized hour, thank you.
Oh, I'm so grateful that these hours kind of line up, and that's more like 10 o'clock your time. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that is so great. So how long have you been using the Genius for?
I was introduced to it around December 2021. I got it. I did trials, and then I started with it in mid 22. So a year and a half, bit more.
Sure, sure. And do you utilize it in your healing practice, or
Yes,
mostly
I
for yourself?
do. I do, mostly for myself. My practice is so. Oh, so sorry. Mostly for myself. I'll just mute my phone. But I do use it with clients as well. My practice is rather small at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, and you're in Australia.
New Zealand.
New Zealand, okay. Oh, New Zealand, I'm so sorry. And but both New Zealand and Australia really, had a hard time during the, you know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Yeah.
survived the, I mean, you're amazingly resilient.
This is true, but I'm still suffering the what's gone down in many ways. I've had a lot of grief and loss, and also very susceptible to the transmissions from the whenever I go into a crowded place or sit beside someone that's just gotten off a plane and had a extra dose, I get a whole set of symptoms, which is really interfering with my life because I want to travel and I'm afraid to get on a plane.
I think a lot of us feel that way. So you're concerned about people who took took the experiment that you're close to them and then they have their
Yeah,
whatever.
from what I
Yeah.
understand, I'm one of a very small, less than 5% of people that are highly susceptible to that. I don't know. There's so many unknowns that makes it even more difficult.
Okay, I totally understand. Um, Completely get it. So why don't we record your voice and picture, and then I'm going to get into some of the details of what you would like to transform.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll start recording your voice in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Sarah Carol Ann Nicholson.
Okay, hang
A
on one second. Hang on one second. Let's let this record. The phone kicked in just as I was trying to record you. So let me just go ahead and see if we can do this again. What's happening? There we go. I'm gonna go right back to the beginning here, and that's so funny. Oh, now it's not letting me record. That's hilarious. Oh, there it is. Okay, I will start recording. I apologize. In 3, 2, 1.
Sarah Carol Ann Nicholson. A-E-I-O-U. 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 A-E-I-O-U.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's some banging going on in the background here. Did that come through? Was it?
No, no, not at all. No, we didn't hear any of it. I didn't hear anything.
Oh, great.
All right, so we're getting that voice recording. Now, I haven't done this in a while, but let's see if can we get a voice harmonics here? So it doesn't let you, I wonder how you're supposed to get the voice harmonics if you have to hit complete. Let's see if I hit continue, it just goes to the next screen. I don't know, I'll have to check on that. If anybody has a solution, let me know. I don't usually do the voice harmonics. So let's go ahead, we're gonna take your picture here. And okay, that works great. And eyes are closed, but it's perfectly fine. Never
Okay.
a perfect, any type of picture will work. And let's go ahead and we'll continue. And we'll go ahead and we'll do the scan here. So now, get down to it. All right, tell us a little bit about what you would like to work on or transform.
Okay. Well, my right shoulder gives me grief. It's an old injury, an old surgery from about 10 years ago. I've re-injured it about 3 times. Every time some helpful person tells me to do push-ups and I foolishly listen in some regard, and then I stuff it up again. And it's pain. When I get tired, it's painful. It's not just the shoulder, it's down the arm as well for some strange reason. And it interferes with sleep. I toss and turn because I can't lie on it. I would love to heal that, transform that. Also, this issue with being affected by the transmission of the Hujima is a big issue for me. So,
I totally understand.
yeah.
I wonder if this is my volume. You seem a little bit low in volume for some reason. But I will Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
it doesn't seem,
is
it
that
doesn't
better?
seem to be, it doesn't seem to be anything in particular. Okay, so let me just also, so you did put this down as well. My right shoulder arm was operated on for rotator cuff tears. I just want to make sure I got this right here, and you told us as well. And other damage, 2012, right shoulder.
Yeah.
Even though, okay, what happened 2012? So that's going back a ways. What happened initially? What was the initial injury?
I'm not entirely sure, but what happened the day before was I went what do you call it, stand-up paddleboarding with somebody, and I was all gung-ho lifting the paddleboard, which was too heavy for me, onto the roof of the vehicle. I didn't know I'd done anything then. I don't know if I did. I came home, I went hard out trimming my hedges. I have a like a little farmlet here that I manage on my own, and 10 years ago, I was 10 years younger. I went hard out with electric hedge trimmer on my hedges for about 3 hours. And that's, you're up above here and it's electricity and so on. I woke up the next morning and I could barely move my shoulder, and it really hurt, and it just went downhill from there. Tried to heal it in all sorts of natural ways. Finally decided surgery was my only option. Had that. That was a nightmare, but it did come right, and it was right for
But
a few.
I don't understand. I'm like somewhere lost in this, and I want to make sure I really get the energy of this here.
Okay.
What did they tell you that they, what warranted the surgery that they saw on imaging?
The orthopedic surgeon, when I finally went back to talk about the image they saw on the scan, I thought it was getting better. He said, "Oh, no, it's really not good. You really need surgery. It's not
But
going to
he
heal."
didn't tell you, was there a tear? Was it the cartilage? Was something out of alignment? What was the thing that really said, if you don't do a surgery, you will be in pain or you will lose the ability to move properly? What was that?
To the best of my remembrance, he said that different tendons were detached, had come away from the bone. They and also, I think they call it a bicuspid tear, which is where they um by this
Okay,
muscle.
okay, bicuspid tear,
Yeah,
bicuspid. But we're not, you have some guesses about what was happening, but you're not really sure what initiated it.
that's right.
Okay, got it. Now, going back to 2012, what was happening in your life at that time?
um I had a 11-year-old daughter. I was a little bit lonely. I'd only sort of relatively newly moved to this area, which is, I lived in a big city in Auckland before I moved here, and I wasn't aware of what I was doing and moving to a sort of regional, small townish area. Um, I was teaching and trying to practice naturopathy. I was financially strapped. I was stressed because I was raising a daughter on my own, which is my second child that I had
So
raised.
how did that happen? What, if you, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, what led you to become a single mom?
Well, her father, my daughter's father, we had agreed to be a family. We were in a relationship. I was I was working as a teacher, and the plan was that we would move in together when he'd finished his law degree and be a family together. My daughter came along, was conceived. Not that comfortable sharing this, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
share what feels okay. You don't have to share everything. Share what feels
It
comfortable
wasn't.
to you that might help us to understand better more, because it seems like, what we're
Okay.
sort of angling at is that there might have been a lot of emotional or some emotional stress at the time, and just trying to get an understanding of that, how it may have contributed. Because
Sure.
it's interesting, the shoulder seems to be speaking, the
Mm,
shoulder seems to be injured and then re-injured, and it's just not whatever this shoulder is trying to tell us
mm.
over and over again. What is that? We're trying to understand about that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there was issues about the consent around the conception. And when I was 14 weeks pregnant, my boyfriend, who was supposed to be going to be my partner for life, rang me up, dumped me on the phone, said he'd changed his mind. And
Oh my
this,
goodness, this is terrible.
and I already had a 12-year-old, 11, 12-year-old son. I was already a single parent. I was 41 years old. I did not want to be a single parent all over again. And he later said he'd left it till 14 weeks so that if I'd decided to terminate, it wouldn't be on him.
Oh
So,
my goodness. Now,
and then he,
Sarah,
yeah,
just take a moment to just breathe. This is very important what we're talking about. I think it's related to this whole issue. So take a moment to breathe. We've had a little bit of a crash here. I'm going to be back in about 3 minutes. So I'll meet you there. So just take a moment to just breathe and I will be right back.
okay, I'll have a cup of tea. Sarah Nicholson, Email Naturopath. Welcome.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, go here. Hopefully everything is good. Whoops. Okay, Sarah, I'm so glad you're there. And my Zoom will just cooperate. Okay, we're just back to where we were. Okay, so as you had a moment to kind of breathe and reflect, what are your kind of thoughts about that time? How were things going with your daughter? And maybe just let us know a little bit about that.
I was reasonably happy at that time. Let's see, I was it was just kind of like part of an ongoing struggle of trying to make ends meet. I did teacher training in order to sort of have be able to support my children, and I thought sort of work anywhere in the country, and I was supposed to supplement my naturopathic practice, but there was an ongoing struggle with doing that, practicing naturopathy in this country. If I was in your country, I'd be like, you know, a naturopathic physician, but in here, not recognized, made invisible by the media, really difficult career to sort of survive in. And so
Well,
this is
naturopath,
part
let
of
me
a,
tell you, naturopaths have our problems here too, but I do understand the sentiment.
yeah. It was just really, I can't think of anything specific at that time other than it was just part of an ongoing struggle. There was an issue before that about 2 years before that, I'd moved here because I wanted to set up a healing center. That was my lifelong dream. 3 years after I'd been here, so 2 years before this shoulder thing, I got new neighbors. They set up a motocross bike track right next door, and my dream went on hold because you can't set up a wellness retreat next door to a motocross bike track. And I was under a lot of stress from these new neighbors who tried to start basically a motocross club right next door. The noise was absolutely totally intolerable. They tried to turn the whole neighborhood against me, saying I'm a killjoy because I would call noise control. So it's like my lifelong dream was kind of in shatters, I guess.
Mm,
And there was ongoing stress from that. The noise of the bike track would be going on every public holiday, at all sorts of times. And
mm.
yeah,
Okay, I understand. So you had the surgery and then it got re-injured.
yeah, didn't get re-injured until um, about 2020 or thereabouts. It was good till then, and then a colleague practitioner of mine told me I should do push-ups, which re-injured it.
That sounds like a terrible idea. Why did they
Yeah,
say you should do push-ups?
mm, ignorance, I guess. Um, and then again, around about a very traumatic time, my dad passed away in 2022 after he had his third suddenly and unexpectedly.
I'm very
And
sorry to hear that.
yeah, um, my youngest brother, who was complaining that nobody took him seriously as a fitness instructor or professional, I was trying to support him and saying, "Oh, I take you seriously. What would you suggest I do for my shoulder?" And he suggested sort of a lighter version of push-ups against the sort of kitchen sink. And to
Hmm.
kind of appease and support him, even though I said, "No, I don't know, this is a very good idea," I did just a couple of very gentle ones and it put my shoulder out again.
Oh,
And that
wow.
led to that particular youngest brother having a total temper tantrum at me and directing all his grief and angst at me on the day that my dad was cremated, and basically ganged up with all my brothers, all my four brothers, all basically ganged up against me. They're all on the other side of the fence, reader. And I've been ostracized from the whole family by my brother, triggered by my youngest brother um, having his temper tantrum. I'm
I
the
feel
eldest.
like this, I feel like this might be sort of a theme of just sort of feeling
Ganged
like,
up on.
yeah, like you're sort of, sort of fighting the good fight, but you kind of have an onslaught of different factions and people who are kind of against you,
Yeah,
or maybe making it difficult for you.
it seems like I kind of get, my brothers used to gang up on me when I was a kid because I half raised them and I was always assigned child caregiver. And because there was four of them and one of me and I was supposed to boss them around, they of course didn't like that, so they would gang up on me. And it's just like now as adults, same sort of story. Yeah.
Well,
And there is a theme there, and now that you mention it, in high school, early high school, my two closest girlfriends kind of suddenly turned against me and ganged up on me. And yeah, with work colleagues, it's happened as well. And it always seems to me like I haven't actually done anything. I've just been me. Mm, yeah.
hmm.
Mm. Which sounds like there's something wrong with me, but
No, it's just really all we do here is just explore the energies,
Sure.
so that you can find the truth within yourself. We
Yeah.
all have shadows and shades of, all the things that you've been through.
Mm, I
Um, but what would you say if you had to be the most like judgmental, like think of the person or the group that you've been in this kind of arrangement or relationship with, which one is the one that kind of irks you the most?
well, right now it's my younger brothers.
Okay, so what would you say about that person if you had to just be really super judgy of them?
He's super immature and ignorant and lacking in compassion and empathy and full of ego.
Mm.
Is that what I'm saying about myself now? Oh dear. Whoops. That
I don't know. I don't know.
one, didn't I?
It is helpful when we feel, and I obviously, known about this technique is it's always good just to explore. And you start laughing when you start exploring any ways that you kind of match that energy and you're calling it on the other person, just starts to break up some of the real, just a lot of the charge around it, because all the charge that we're feeling and experience what could legitimately be real is affecting our physical body in a really heavy way. So anyway, we can kind of switch that up, look at it differently, process it differently, try to see, it's more about the other person, that their stuff, not against me personally. I probably have some of the stuff that I'm seeing in the other person. It just helps to lighten the load a lot so that we don't feel oppressed by our own thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It lightens it. I get it.
Because, when you first come on, you seem, I get this energy from you of actually joy, happiness, lightheartedness, and confidence. How would you say you resonate with any of those words?
Well, just in the last week, good things have happened for me. Um, you know, my love life's potentially stepped up a notch, and my finances have stepped up a big notch.
Yeah,
And that's happened
congratulations. That's
out of the
great.
blue in the last week. So yeah, I'm kind of happy today. But
Okay, that's awesome.
I, my confidence has diminished over the last few years. I'm not that confident really.
I really speaking to, it as your true nature, what you sort of exudes or comes through about you, because you definitely have a lot of stuff that's kind of percolating below the surface, some of the emotional pieces,
Mm,
and they don't come through necessarily in sort of the demeanor of saying, hi, how are you? And I don't think they're your true nature is what I'm trying to say.
is there a question in there?
No, no,
Maybe,
no, no. Just I'm
no.
just no. And actually, just wanted to look at the emotional anatomy. I brought up the library, emotional anatomy, releasing trapped emotions, and you don't have to have any of these libraries. We're just looking at them together. And I usually just try to see if there's one that's interesting. I release the pain and stiffness in my life that is related to resisting the experience of pleasure and joy. What do you think about that?
Um, Sounds really good. I'm trying to find it on the list here so I can read it again to myself and comment more. There, okay. I release the pain and stiffness in my life that is related to resisting the experience of pleasure and joy in my life. I am worthy of pleasure and wonderful experiences. Yes, yes, yes. I'll have some of that, please.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. So there's a resonance there, basically.
Yeah, there is a resonance there. Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So let's not that one. We want to bring this one up into the quick zap, which is this one right here, and we'll deal with the other one in a moment.
I
So
forgot to mention something.
yeah, I
It's
wanted to ask you a bit more about, we should probably just get right to it. So are there any other things besides the shoulder that you're
yeah,
wanting to transform?
there is. It's become less of an issue of late, but during the 2020 lockdown we had here, I had a fall. A person I'd been sharing the lockdown with had just left like 5 minutes before. I was checking to see if I'd been robbed, and I fell off a small wooden table and my sacrum hit the corner of it. And I really couldn't move for a little while, and I was really sore for many days. And since then I re-injured it during a work Christmas ridiculous party.
Okay, now, but wait a second, back up. That's interesting when it's listening to you. I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then I'm all of a sudden, whoa, something really big just came out right there.
Yep.
What did you say about the person you were sharing space with?
He had just left.
Okay, so so this
Well,
person is an office mate.
no, this person was a man that I met. That I'd met a short time before, who had he and I had decided that it was a good idea for him to come and spend time with me. And
He
it
was
just
like a boy. He was like a
he was
boyfriend.
a boyfriend. Yeah, he was a boyfriend. Yeah.
Okay, but where did the robbing thing come in?
It came that I didn't trust him. And I was just checking my stash of valuables to see if it was
So
still there.
and when you like that, you had this jolt and this nervousness, so you kind of jumped up or slid off the table or something.
I fell off a table about 2 feet high with a sharpish wooden corner, a solid sort of table with a wooden corner. And my sacrum hit the corner of the table on the way down.
So there's
And since
something,
then I had pain
so there's
sometimes.
something about trust.
Yeah,
There's something about trust.
yeah,
Trusting yourself, trusting, is this
yeah,
person safe for me? And
yeah.
but it's so present that it caused you to kind of like, what were you thinking in that moment? Thinking when you had when you had a second where it's like, man, maybe he took my valuables. What was kind of running through your body or your thoughts?
Sort of panic and fear and shock.
And did he take anything?
No,
Yeah, so that's so interesting. Has that ever come up at any other time in your life?
uh, no, not not in that sort of not in that sort of way. And I can't really
Okay,
think. No, I don't think so.
okay, okay. All right, got it. Um, so how's your sleep?
It's pretty good now. Yeah.
Okay, so you
I
fall asleep easily and you sleep through the night.
mostly. Yeah, mostly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Had
and
issues with it during menopause, but I'm good now with sleep.
you're good now. Okay, and how would you describe your mood most of the time?
Most of the time I'm pretty even now. I'm pretty sort of accepting of life's ups and downs. I'm a person that's sort of worked on themselves and is spiritually worked on my spiritual evolution, let's put it that way, my whole life. And now I'm at a point where I'm feeling like I'm getting a real good balance of sort of masculine energy, feminine energy. I'm finding my way. I've been a lifelong meditator, and just this morning I had this like lotus flower, lilac, purple lotus flower opening in my crown chakra, and I'm going, "Whoa, what is going on here? This is new."
No, I'm sure
Um,
you've done a lot of
and
work on yourself. That's amazing.
I looked at my galactic calendar, which is really far out, and it says we're in the middle of a big portal right now, and it's autumn equinox. So yeah, I'm pretty good. Ups and downs still happen, but I'm more easily able to absorb those and spend more time being with the positive stuff and letting the not so good stuff just, work its way through. And no, I'm more confident that I will deal with whatever happens.
What are some of the things that you've tried on your shoulder to
I
improve it?
tried hanging from a bar. That actually really helped once, a few times, but I don't seem to be diligent enough to keep doing it regularly. I
What are the
take
types of natural remedies or energetic frequency things that you've tried for your shoulder?
Well, nutritionally chondroitin, glucosamine, Started taking fish oils again recently, which I don't think it's not such a good idea with your new diet and nutrition program, but
And
anti-inflammatory.
do you know why the fish oil is not recommended, just in a nutshell?
No, I don't. I'd love to know.
Because fish oil does indeed lower inflammation, which is why you would have that perception
Mm.
that you're not in pain at that time, which seems very satisfying to people. But when you do it, you're lowering your immune system because that is part of the inflammatory response. And you're also thinning the blood.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the best choice as an anti-inflammatory. I think there could be other choices that could be really helpful. And you don't want to take any of those on a constant basis. You want to take breaks, stop for a while, and then go back.
Mm-hmm.
So what helps the most for your shoulder pain?
Honestly, what helped the most was hanging from the bar sort of for half a minute 3 times a day, but I don't seem to be able to get myself to do it. I take a combination supplement called Synergistics, which probably has boswellia and curcumin, and I'd have to get it and see what's in it. Um, Nothing seems to be really changing with it at the moment. I run the Genius on myself daily pretty much, and I kind of do a general. I don't specifically focus on, I don't think I have the right libraries to work on my shoulder specifically. And I would be interested to know which libraries I should get to do that.
Let's go back for a moment to this emotional anatomy, and I want to go back to that library. So there was one that I accidentally put into the tray, and I want to look at that in a moment. I release the pain and stiffness in my life related to resisting the experience of pleasure and joy in my life. Now, I want to read from Louise Hay's book, When I Look Up Shoulder. Issues with the shoulder represents our ability to carry out experiences in our life joyously.
Right.
Isn't that interesting that the theme about sort of embracing or being joyous, just that is an interesting theme that's coming up in the frequencies. So it's just sort of
Yeah.
fascinating to think about. I guess, to be joyful, it's really important to be in the present moment. And when we have a lot of things that we're thinking about, or emotional traumas from the past, a lot of our mind travels back to those times a lot. And so we may be in the experience of the trauma mentally more than able to be in the present moment.
Mm. And, until recently, particularly last winter here, like I have been really quite depressed on and off and really low in mood. And there's not been much joy. I mean, joy has come through recently, but it's very recent. It's been a long time of just feeling really flat and no joy and just trying to one foot in front of the other after Dad's passing and loss of family, and my dog died as well. And I tried to go back to teaching and I got really sick, and then my dog died, and oh my God, sad, 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 sad,
There's
sad.
a lot. There's a lot,
Yeah.
and obviously a lot that you've been through.
Yeah.
And this has been such intense times that we're living in. What are the things in life that give you the most joy?
Well, surfing gives me a lot of joy, but I'm less keen on it lately because the shoulder hurts and the lower
Right.
back hurts and it's painful, and I just don't seem to have the
Are there
mojo.
any modifications of bodyboarding or anything like that that you can do that would be less straining on the shoulder?
Uh, yeah, but I'm a kind of hardcore surfer my whole life, and you know, I'm not going to go to bodyboarding or stand up paddle boarding now. It's just not going to happen.
But it would
Um,
allow you to experience the joy of being on the water and just having some
uh,
fun.
I can still surf. I mean, if I really needed to, I would do that, but I still I still can surf. It's still
Sure. What are some of the other
more
things
like
that,
I've lost interest. It's like I'm more interested at the moment. I'm working on getting my property sort of market ready so that I can take off in my caravan, travel around New Zealand for a couple of years, maybe find somewhere I maybe like better, because socially this here I'm sort of a little bit isolated because I'm out of town, and the mindset here is yeah, I don't, it's okay, I've made a life here, but I'm still figuring there might be somewhere that would suit me better in this country. So I'm focused on, right, I'm painting my roof at the moment and painting the house, getting it all ready, about to take off in my caravan.
well, that sounds like that's a natural place to be when you've been through so much with your father passing, dog passing, seeing
Mm.
people pass, see what's happened in
And
the
yes,
world, and we were locked down. Seems like what
yeah,
you're doing is the natural sort of next logical step for you to be out somewhere, to be free, to be
yeah,
discovering new experiences, to be in that van, just saying, "Hey, what is life really about?"
yeah,
That makes sense to me. That seems like a great choice for you.
yep, yep. And I'm making it happen. But you know how to make God laugh? This is a joke, Ariel. Know how to make God laugh?
Mm-mm.
Make plans.
But you're
Yeah,
not really making any plans. You're just getting in the van and you're letting life show you what's coming
true,
next.
true. Yep. And then, yeah, and I just met this man who lives here. But then he's talking about, oh, how would you feel about going on a trip around the UK together? And I'm going, hell yes. That was a really interesting thing that happened last week. He's sort of out of the blue, is someone I knew, an acquaintance. Suddenly, out of the blue, at the end of our coffee hour, he suggests we do a trip around the UK. And I go, hell yes. It's like on my bucket list. And so now my plans to travel around New Zealand, it's like, oh no, New Zealand's too small now. I mean, I have traveled a lot in the past. And that same night, anyway, no, oversharing, sorry, shutting up now.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's interesting. The thing that keeps coming up is about like, I'm ready to release the subconscious emotional wounds and truly heal on every level. So, a lot of that emotional, the emotional pieces underneath the surface are still sort of asking to be sorted, even though I'm sure you've done a lot of this work in the past because I think they're sort of speaking through your body and speaking sort of like you still have a sort of a churning within, sort of trying to get to a place of peace.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think your traveling would do wonders, would be very exciting and would
Yep.
bring you a lot of joy.
Yep. I got self-containment certification for my camper van yesterday, which was quite miraculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. So we've got healthy remodeling of the bone. I'm going to be thinking about some remedies that I know of that would help you with the cartilage.
Right.
Seems like the cartilage is probably the main issue, maybe
Yeah,
the
but
bursa as well.
it's weird how the pain is no longer it's no longer just my shoulder. It's actually my forearm and elbow, and it's
Well,
sort of
that's probably postural. That's probably how you have been holding the shoulder over the years to kind of make sure you don't get hurt or feel hurt with the arm,
the
I think.
yeah.
What about physical therapy? Has that been helpful at all?
No, not really. I have thought about going back to a physiotherapist I've heard about here and getting another scan to see what's going on. But
Hmm.
this whole last 4 years has got me afraid to go anywhere near mainstream medicine because I feel like I have to be my own doctor now.
But some
We've
of
got,
those like outpatient places with physical therapists, they're not going to be demanding that you get the thing or whatever. They might, but I don't know if we call them the same thing, but we have physical therapists, they're kind of like physiotherapists in the United States. And so
yeah,
they are often very good with posture
yeah.
and, seeing where you're compensating and moving in the way that you're moving the shoulder. And I'm just thinking
Yeah,
that could
well,
be
maybe.
helpful.
I did go to a local osteopath a couple of times, but only the benefits were very small and very short-lived. So that's a possible. I've just sort of haven't been a naturopath my whole life and a yoga practitioner my whole life. I'm a little bit prejudiced against that. Not just a little bit, I don't put too much store by physiotherapy, but I'm open to exploring it. Yeah.
I see.
And perhaps that would be a good move.
Yeah.
It's
And what about
possible.
PE, what about PEMF? Have you used some of the PEMF machines around your shoulder? Because that things,
No.
in the joint itself is very hard to reach directly with any type of supplement or any type of medication. And that truly is where frequency shines. So PEMF comes to mind with a direct application of the actual PEMF unit is good because it's the energy can penetrate through the bursa, into the
Right.
cartilage, whereas these are not
Yeah.
very well vascularized areas otherwise.
Yes, I don't know hardly anything about PEMF, and I would like to. I've had a Rife machine for 20 years, but and other devices, color bioptron, but I don't know about PEMF, and I would like
Okay,
to.
let's see if we can send you some information about that because, yeah, I would have recommended
It'd
you're
be great.
doing PEMF all the time to
Yep,
the shoulder to help to
yep,
repair it and
yep.
bring down the inflammation. I think that would be something that would be, really, really helpful.
That sounds really, really good.
Okay, so I'm going to be sending you a wellness plan with some of my recommendations. Then the following week, I'll bring the wellness plan back to share with everybody. It'll be a combination of recommended or the frequencies that I utilized anyway.
All right.
I'll recommend some things that are on the main part of the program so you do not feel obligated to have the libraries. I'll also be creating some personalized affirmations for you that will be included. I will be saying some prayers for you that I hope, and pray for your divine healing, rectification of the shoulder, restoration to full function and optimal health for you. So I'll be saying that on a daily basis, and then a food plan. I'll definitely come up with some other maybe supplements or PEMF
Mm.
recommendations as well to really come to something that's really just, sort of a holistic plan.
Can you throw in some heart healing, please? My heart feels like it needs healing.
So just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's just a lot of grief and loss, like my best
Okay.
friend died in 2020. My other best friend sort of, well, we're not friends anymore because she took the other side of the fence, and then loss of family and dog, and my son's injured and his partner. My daughter's sort of, she's all right, but she doesn't like talking on the phone much. And it's just isolation, loneliness, loss, grief. And yeah, my son is really, really crook, and his partner, and they're in their 30s. They were healthy, happy, strong, intelligent people, and now they basically stagger between couch and kitchen, and they're not awake to what's been going on at all. They don't connect the dots.
So
And
they've actually become depressed because of what's happened in the world?
not depressed, horribly ill. The latest diagnosis they've got is long COVID, but it's gone through POTS and B12 deficiency and multiple sclerosis. Oh no, hang on. I don't know. They've had all these diagnoses from medical specialists and for years, since 2021, and they're not getting any better. And it's heartbreaking. And I can't really talk to them about it because they think I'm a, you know, crazy person.
Well, it's interesting. I created a series of libraries called Courageous Transitions, really with sort of what you've been going through in mind, similar experiences. And so there's one for relationship grief release, relationship grief affirmations, grief from loss affirmations, and transformation to heal energetics. We're going to look at some of these, and then I'm going to be gifting this library to you. I hope that's helpful for you and for your clients and the people around you.
Oh, thank you so much.
But let's look at this because there's one grief from loss, release, and we'll look at some other ones. And this one says, death is a way of transition and all are cared for. What do you think about that?
Yes, that's what's kind of happening. It's like my dad is caring for me from beyond the grave.
Oh, I'm sure that's true,
Yeah, for
without a
sure.
doubt.
In so many ways, yeah. Mm.
I deserve better than this. How does that land
Yeah,
with you?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, angels are helping me to heal.
Oh, they are.
I can be at peace with what has happened.
Yeah, I can. But
That's wonderful.
that's bringing tears. That's bringing up a lot of emotion. That one, well, all of them, actually.
I'm going to include some of these. Let's also look at, there's some affirmations here. Um, my courage is stronger than my fear.
Yeah, I like that one.
That up here as well. I am amazed at my strength.
Well, that one's kind of scary. I don't know what that says.
I bet
Yeah.
you are. You must be a very strong person to be surviving through everything that you've been through.
Well, it's all the angels helping me, you know.
I trust my ability to thrive in this world.
Yeah, that's good.
I am safe and sound.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Okay, and we'll get a couple just from below here. I am the embodiment of courage. Isn't it interesting that that theme about courage keeps coming up?
So people say they think I'm really courageous. I don't feel courageous. I feel like I just deal with and do what I have to do. But maybe it's true. Maybe I am courageous. I'll go with that.
I allow myself time to heal my emotions.
Oh, no, I want them healed right now, thanks. But okay, all right, I'll
But
allow
maybe
myself.
on being on the open road, it's that
Yeah.
can be really because you're left with. It's interesting when we're home and we're in our daily world. It's interesting all the busyness that pops up, and when you take yourself out of that on vacation, when you're on the road, when you're somewhere else, it's funny how all of that just hopefully isn't there and just gives you time just to be.
Yeah, well, I have experienced that. I went on the road for a month last year and it was just wonderful. And I've done some short trips, but there's this kind of fly in the ointment, which is not a fly, it's a butterfly. It's this man that I've just met who's really here in this region that I'm been working very hard to get away from. So I don't know how that's going to pan out.
Well, would he come travel with you?
Maybe, yeah, maybe I'll ask him this afternoon when I have my second date with him.
Sounds perfect. Um, Feeling my emotions, I begin to heal on many levels.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's go ahead and do you have a Quanta capsule?
I do, yes. I got one specially for this event.
Excellent. And could you put the email of your Quanta capsule into the chat?
Sure.
So we're going to go to the Quanta membership area and we're going to add her first so that we can look at the playlist, name the playlist if we need to, kind of track it, see if she's picked it up. So now we're going to use this, my members. We're going to tap on this and we're going to search for her. Oh, add a member. We're going to search for her by using this little search bar here. And then I'm going to copy and paste from here, which is sort of handy through Bluetooth. We'll copy it. We will paste it. And so sometime in the next 24-ish hours, I'm going to email you your wellness plan. And if you have any questions about it, then definitely reply and let me know. Now we're going to go back to actually we can do it from right here. So if we want to do all of them, we can actually send to the capsule from here. Whoops, we have to add the member. And then it goes right there. And then we can simply export. So that's playlist number 1 is going to be all of them. And so then we have this sort of key one here with some key things that we looked at. And I'm going to put some solfeggios in here. My courage is stronger than my fear. I can be at peace with what has happened. I release the pain and stiffness in my life that is related to resisting the experience of joy and pleasure. And definitely it looks like you're moving more into a place of accepting joy and pleasure, even just finding this new lovely relationship, which is very exciting. So there's a lot of change and transformation going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring all the solfeggios up into the tray here, and then I'm going to go right to this tray, and then I'm also going to send a playlist from here. And so she gets a second playlist. And so we bring her up here, and then we send, and then we can also go to Progressive Insights, and we can do the high items. So if we, oops, not there, we go right here, and then we look at the high items right here, and then we export to the capsule. This is the one that takes the longest for some reason. Right here, there we go. And we send it off to the capsule. So we have 3 playlists now, and we'll go back, and she can actually name them on her end as well. I noticed that Dale Ann from yesterday's class actually did that, but let's go ahead to her member sheet. Let's do it for her. So today is the 19th of March. It's your 20th of March. So we'll do it this way. If anybody has any questions or any other suggestions or things they wanted to recommend, please let us know in the chat box there. And we are in March. So it's the autumn equinox there, huh?
Yes, it is.
So funny to have the opposite weather patterns that versus what we're having here, moving from spring into summer.
Yeah, it's right on the day today. I looked at my moon calendar this morning and I thought, oh my goodness, it's autumn equinox. And that for me is always, historically, it's a time for letting go of what no longer serves one. It's like, and embracing, calling in what is wanted and desired and good for us to have. And yeah, I think good thing to do for the whole planet. I've got my Quanta capsule here.
Okay, so you're going to want to check your email, and I'll show you another way to actually get these. So let me just finish here, and this is going to be the high items. We're also going to look at your aura before we finish out here. So these are all named now, and you could actually go to your Quanta capsule, and you can, I don't know why I keep doing this. It would have to be in the Quanta capsule. Let's see if I still have this on my device. Let me just, this is really
So I've got your
Oh, here it is.
email.
Yeah, but I want to show you within your Genius, if this will load it. We can go to my scan results, I think, and your scan results, you will no longer have to find the email, stress out about the email. You can just go to my scan results, and the 3 playlists that I just sent to you should already be populated within the capsule itself. It's a really neat trick.
So I can go to the capsule and look for my scan results.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, yes, I see it. And
Excellent.
I have it.
Yeah. So you can decide if you want to play all of them, if you want to play the high items, if you want to just do some of the, I put the solfeggios and then some of those key emotional connections into kind of a short list, which is number 2, which is the one that says affirmation. So then we'll check back with you in a few weeks and see how you're doing once you get the plan implemented. And I hope that we can really help you to transform and really heal this issue with your shoulder so you get full function and capability back with your shoulder.
Okay. Just so I'm clear, what is your recommendation for playing these the playlists in that I'm now looking at that are in my Quanta capsule? I know you just told me.
No, I like to tell people to do them 15 minutes twice a day, but you have 3 lists there. So maybe you want to do number 1 for 10 minutes, number 2 for 5 minutes, and then number 3 for 15 minutes in the evening. So you can decide, but about 15 minutes twice a day is what I usually recommend. And I usually tell people, first thing in the morning when you're getting up, you could do anything else. You're brushing your teeth, you're playing your frequencies. At
Yep.
night, you're brushing your teeth, you're flossing, you're playing your frequencies. And that way, it's just a little bit of a reminder for people because people, you don't usually forget to brush their teeth. So if you're brushing your teeth, you're playing your frequencies. There's no trouble in doing a whole bunch of things together. You can always play your frequencies while you're doing something else.
Okay.
You know, really amazing. Did you see this original aura that we found for you, Sarah? Like it's got so much green in it.
Hmm.
Really, really like a lot of healing energy coming
Wow.
from your field. And then that deep, deep blue, really open intuition. And this really looks second chakra to me, like a lot of creativity. And then this was the beginning aura, and then we moved into this one, which is to me seems a lot more soothed, a lot more calm, a lot more like at peace.
Right. Right.
Did any of
I,
that resonate for you?
yeah, I've never seen my aura look like that. I don't know what you did. I'm not 100% confident about playing these playlists and using this Conda capsule, but I guess I'll figure it out. Um,
Yeah, just go ahead and shoot me an email, and we have a bunch of tutorials
okay.
about how to do that.
All right. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you
All
so.
right, Sarah, thank you so much for being part of our practitioner hour. I can't wait to get your wellness plan to you and see how everything shakes out, as well as in the future hear about your wonderful travels. I know they're going to be amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, well, it's my intention to make the genius and working with it the mainstay of my practice ongoingly. It's kind of, yeah. So thank you so much. And I'm sure we will continue to be in contact.
Yes, I really, really hope
Certainly
so.
an avid follower of your practitioner hour and everything else that you do. I even
Thank you so
sometimes
much.
get
I'm
up
glad.
at
I'm
6
glad.
o'clock in the morning to watch them.
I. That's really early, but I'm so grateful that you came on and we could connect more person to person this way. It's been really an honor to get to work with you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Likewise.
All right, Sarah, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, laters.
All right, perfect. Well, it was a really great case to work on. I'm excited about working on Sarah's plan, and we'll present the wellness plan next week so you can see what I came up with. And yes, if you send her an aura, a photo of the auric field, where does she retrieve it through the app? So this is a little tricky because you have to do two things at the same time. And I think this, unfortunately, this is really a problem with the Genius right now is, and I have an older version on this iPad, I'm gonna have to update it. It shouldn't be timing out so quickly. So if you see, I switched over to just look at the pictures and it shouldn't be timing out. Now it's restarting everything. That's not good. So I'm not sure what to do about that. If anybody's ever experienced that, because we've got all of this here. Now, I'm not sure if we have all the information now in here for her, but the main idea is what you need to do is you need to run a quick report. This isn't the report. You know what, I'm going to show it next week because I'll make sure that I don't exit out to show the aura pictures. But essentially, what you do need to do is you need to export the aura picture first and then export the frequencies. Once you export the frequencies, it will pick up the aura picture and it will send it to their capsule. So you cannot send this aura picture on its own. You can only do that after you actually send frequencies. Yeah, we've run a bit over time. So I will show this next time, but if the aura does bring a final result here, I just do want to show where you can export it to the capsule. Wow, seems like a really long aura interpretation. Okay, so that's interesting that it came up with something different. We didn't have her voice in picture. And I know you look at this and you're like, wow, that really changed. But we did a really intense session actually, sort of even lightly talking. So this may be something that's sort of, Sarah, make sure you drink a lot of water because, there may be some purging and things that are coming up. All that being said, we can export to the capsule right here. And so that's going to, basically send it, but she won't receive it unless we also send an export of frequencies. So I just wanted to bring that through and let everybody know about that. Well, I hope you'll join me for the course coming up, which is all about the experiencing the potato rice pasta as we go through a detox together. And we do have a practitioner hour for next week. We're going to need some more volunteers. I am going to be off the first week of April, so we won't have class then, but I do need some more volunteers. So if you've been inspired today and really feel like, hey, I'd like to be worked on, or you have a client that you think would be good candidate for coming on here and we can work together and I can help you with that case, then please contact me, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. And here's our class, Detox and Nourish. You can do it in 3 installments. You'll get a lot of information that you can give to your clients. So I hope to we get to see you for that. And we will be back next week. Take care, everybody. Be well. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.